But the question I had is, what are your thoughts around letting the patients know we're using AI to do some of the diagnosis or some of the summarization that you showed? And then what do you think in terms of, if we let the patients know, are they going to come to the places that are using AI, or are they going to be afraid to go to the places that use AI? So what are your thoughts on that?
Love that. I appreciate that question. Such a great question. Do you tell your patients that you're using electricity? No. At some point, it is going to be so ubiquitous in everything that we do that it's assumed that we're going to leverage some level of AI. But right now, we're in a very awkward stage. I'll show you the state of where AI is today in healthcare. I went to my own doctor a number of months ago, and I saw on their wall, they had a consent authorization form. And it looked like this. It said, AI software consent, we seek your consent to use our approved AI voice-to-text software to capture your information. And this was great because I believe that this encapsulated the whole AI movement within healthcare really well, because number one, they spell authorization wrong. And number two is like, it was all caps, just like this is how my mother texts me, Shanu, how are you doing? And then the whole thing was put together by 800 pieces of Scotch tape, which is important in the healthcare industry. I think consent is incredibly important because it's an unfamiliar technology. So the more and more that we can educate our patients for them to understand how we're using the information is best practice today. At some point, from a clinician standpoint, it is going to be medical malpractice to not leverage AI. As a patient, I want my physician to use AI. Now, I don't want them to over-rely on AI. I don't want them to simply rely on it and spit it back to me, but just as a check, absolutely. As a patient, why wouldn't you check every single South Asian 5'7" male that has these conditions? I would love for you to do that. At this point, consent is super important, so I really appreciate that question. I would disclose. Now, but my whole thing is though, if you have a consent form, just spell it right. That's it. So thank you.